Captain Jake Morrison stood at the heart of the bridge, gazing out into the infinite expanse of stars. The command deck of the UEES Titan's Wrath spanned like a bustling metropolis. Officers worked diligently at their stations, their movements synchronized with the gentle blinking of blue lights on the vast control panels. From Jake's vantage point, the enormity of the ship was evident. Its 12-kilometer length extended beyond what his eyes could capture, dwarfing even the width of many cities. 3 colossal fusion reactors powered the vessel, each capable of illuminating Earth's moon for an entire year. Its arsenal boasted enough firepower to obliterate a planet, while its reinforced armor could withstand nearly any conceivable threat. Despite his 15 years of experience as a ship captain, Jake felt unprepared for this monumental moment, humanity's first voyage to another star system. "Captain, all systems are green across the board," reported Chief Engineer Lisa Campbell. From her console, petite woman with cropped red hair and perpetually grease-stained hands, Lisa had personally overseen the construction of many of the ship's critical systems. If anyone could vouch for the readiness of the Titan's Wrath, it was her. Jake acknowledged her with a nod before turning his attention to the main screen. Their destination filled the display, the Kepler 442 system, where 3 planets orbited a sun-like star. Scientists believed at least one of these worlds held the potential to sustain human life. The journey would take them 43 light-years away from Earth. "Navigation report," Jake called. Lieutenant Ben Carter, a young officer no older than 25, looked up nervously from his console. His fingers moved deftly over the controls as he responded. "Course plotted and confirmed, Captain. The Alcubierre drive is charged and ready. We're set to jump on your command." Jake's pulse quickened. The Alcubierre drive represented humanity's first foray into faster-than-light travel. Though successful in trials with unmanned ships, this was its first human trial. A single miscalculation could doom them all in the void between stars. "Communications? Any word from Earth Command?" Jake inquired. Amy Rodriguez swiveled in her chair, her voice steady. "Admiral Kate Sullivan sends her regards. Earth Command has granted full authorization to proceed. They're monitoring all frequencies." Jake approached the expansive front window, which framed the vast darkness of space. Behind them, Earth shone as a faint blue dot. Soon they would be so far away that even this faint light would vanish. He thought of the 800 souls aboard his ship, scientists, engineers, soldiers, and explorers all pioneers embarking on a mission that might never return them home. Their faith in him was unshakable, and he bore the weight of that trust. Activating the ship-wide communication system, Jake's voice resonated across the vessel. "Attention all hands. This is your captain speaking. In 60 seconds, we will make history as the first humans to journey to another star. I know some of you feel fear, that's natural. What we are attempting has never been done. But I believe in this crew and in this ship. We will succeed because we are human, and humans never give up." Jake paused, glancing at his officers. Each pair of eyes was fixed on him, resolute. "Remember why we undertake this journey? Our mission is not to conquer or claim, but to explore. To learn and to secure new horizons for future generations. We journey in peace, though we remain ready to defend ourselves if the need arises." Returning to his command chair, a sturdy structure of leather and steel designed for decades of travel, Jake seated himself. Gripping the armrests, the moment had arrived. "All stations report readiness," Jake commanded. "Engineering ready," Lisa confirmed. "Navigation ready," Ben responded. "Communications ready," Amy replied. "Weapons ready," added Commander Pete Johnson, a seasoned officer with gray hair and calloused hands. Scars from 2 decades in the Earth Space Navy, Jake exhaled slowly, his gaze fixed on the stars beyond. Somewhere, intelligent life might already be listening. Aware of Earth's radio signals that had been traversing the cosmos for over a century, with steady resolve, he gave the final order: initiate jump. The Titan's Wrath would herald humanity's entry into the galactic stage. Its Alcubierre drive wasn't just a tool for exploration, it was a declaration. For centuries, Earth's faint radio signals had whispered humanity's existence to the cosmos. Now the Titan's wrath would shout it. "Lisa, bring the Alcubierre drive online," Jake ordered, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "Bringing it online now, Captain," Lisa responded, her fingers dancing over her console like a virtuoso at a piano. "Power building, 70%. 80%? 90%? ... A low, resonant hum began to fill the ship. Jake could feel it vibrate deep in his bones as the three fusion reactors channeled an immense torrent of energy into the drive system. Space itself began to twist and distort in ways imperceptible to the human eye. "Drive at full power, Captain," Lisa announced. "Space-time distortion field is stable. We're ready to jump." Jake stole one last glance at the main screen. Earth, a tiny delicate blue speck, seemed impossibly small against the vast backdrop of space. Yet, from this fragile world, humanity had built the Titan's wrath, a symbol of its ambition and ingenuity. "Execute jump," Jake commanded. The stars vanished. Fleet Commander Zixel felt his forearms tense, his metallic blue skin glinting. Under the dim light of his bridge, the readings on his display defied comprehension. His ship's sensors had detected an anomaly near the outskirts of Zephyrion space, an event that no known technology should have been able to produce. "Run the scan again," Zixel ordered, his voice a series of harmonious notes translated into words by his ship's AI, "Sir." "We've already run it 5 times, replied his sensor officer, their tone a mix of awe and concern. "The readings are consistent. A massive space-time distortion occurred in Sector 779. The energy signature is unlike anything in our databases." Zixel stepped forward, his polished metal skin reflecting the soft glow of the control panels. His ship, the Dawn's Edge, spanned 3 kilometers and housed enough firepower to obliterate a small moon. Yet if the data was accurate, whatever caused the distortion was far beyond even the Dawn's Edge in power. "Transmit this data to High Command immediately," Zixel ordered. Priority 1. On the other side of the galaxy, Archon Yelth analyzed the same data. The Valkyrie Empire, rulers of 50 star systems for over 3,000 years, prided itself on maintaining control over galactic developments. Yet this energy signature was an enigma. Yelth's gray, intricately patterned skin shimmered faintly under the ambient light of his chamber. His 4 eyes, capable of independent movement, were all fixed on the holographic display before him. The energy output in the report dwarfed anything the Valkyrie had ever encountered. "This is unprecedented," Yelth muttered, his deep, resonant voice echoing in the chamber. He turned to his aide, a young Valkyrie female holding a data tablet. "Bring me everything we know about the humans," he commanded, his tone sharp with urgency. "Yes, Archon," she replied, swiftly tapping through her interface. In the dim light, Yelth's eyes narrowed as he contemplated the implications. Humanity, a species the Valkyrie had dismissed as insignificant, had just introduced itself to the galaxy in a way no one could ignore. The last intelligence report on humans, dated 50 Earth years prior, painted them as a primitive species. At that time, they had just mastered nuclear fusion and possessed no meaningful spacefaring capabilities. Humanity lived on a small blue planet in an unremarkable star system, and their technological progress seemed limited. According to the report, their most advanced spacecraft struggled to reach their moon, and projections suggested they would require at least 500 years to develop faster than light travel. "These reports are obsolete," Yelth said, his voice heavy with disbelief. "No species progresses from nuclear fusion to this level of technology in just 50 years. It's impossible." Yet the sensor data spoke otherwise. Something extraordinarily powerful and sophisticated had entered this sector of the galaxy, and it had originated from the direction of Earth, in the depths of space. Queen Mine Cassara of the Cathra swarm trembled, a rare occurrence for one who had ruled unchallenged for millennia. Like most species, the Cathra resembled an advanced insectoid collective. Cassara herself was the size of a building, her consciousness linked to millions of smaller Cathara through an intricate mental network. For millions of years, Cathara's survival had hinged on a simple strategy: avoid battles they couldn't win, and steer clear of species stronger than themselves. This cautious philosophy had preserved them through countless galactic upheavals. Now, however, Kazara's sensors relayed something that activated her primal instincts. Terror. The energy signature detected wasn't just immensely powerful, it was astonishingly efficient. Whatever species had created this technology was more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Without hesitation, Kazara sent an urgent signal across her hive ships. Chemical messages, capable of traversing vast distances, carried a single, unambiguous warning to every Kathira in the swarm. A new predator has emerged. Within hours, something unprecedented occurred. The three dominant powers of the galaxy, Zephyrions, Valkyrie, and Cathra, began communicating. These civilizations had been locked in enmity for centuries, waging wars that had annihilated entire star systems. Their mutual distrust had made any form of cooperation unthinkable. Yet, faced with the same existential threat, they found themselves aligned by a shared fear. For the first time in recorded history, the great powers of the galaxy were united by diplomacy or conquest, but by the realization that a new force had entered the playing field. One capable of upending the fragile balance of power, Fleet Commander Zixel initiated the unprecedented communication, transmitting a message to both the Valkyrie Empire and the Cathra Swarm. We have detected an unknown vessel of extraordinary power entering our space. This could pose a threat to all our species. We request immediate consultation. Archon Yelth was the first to respond, setting aside millennia of hostility for pragmatism. The Valkyrie Empire agrees to emergency talks. We've observed the same energy signature. This threat is beyond the capability of any one species to handle alone. Queen Mind Kasara took longer to reply. Her inherent mistrust of outsiders warred with her species' survival instincts. But in the end, survival won. The swarm will participate in these talks. This predator must be assessed. If it endangers the hive, it must be neutralized. The first time in recorded galactic history, the three dominant powers united. Emergency fleets mobilized, heading toward the border between their territories and human space. The Zephyrions dispatched their swiftest reconnaissance ships, the Valkyrie sent their most powerful battlecruisers, and the Cathra unleashed swarms of fighters so numerous they could eclipse stars. None of them knew what awaited them. Only one question echoed across council chambers throughout the galaxy. Who are the humans, and what do they want? The Titans. Wrath emerged from faster-than-light travel in a blaze of blue light. Captain Jake Morrison felt the familiar sensation of his stomach settling as the ship returned to normal space. Though the journey had taken 3 days, it felt instantaneous. Navigation. Confirm our position, Jake ordered, settling into his chair. Lieutenant Ben Carter quickly verified the coordinates. We're in the Kepler 442 system, Captain. Right where we planned? The jump was perfect. Jake allowed himself a rare smile. The Alkabir drive had performed flawlessly, transporting them 43 light-years in mere days. Humanity's greatest technological achievement had proven itself. Begin a system scan, Jake commanded. Let's see what we've found. Main screen came alive with data, displaying images of the Kepler 442 system. 3 planets orbited the yellow star. One world stood at a vibrant mix of blue and green, veiled by swirling white clouds. It looked strikingly similar to Earth, Captain Ben interrupted, his voice tight with concern. I'm detecting multiple contacts dropping out of hyperspace. Jake stood sharply. How many? 8 ships. No, 60. The number keeps climbing. On the tactical display, red dots began clustering around the Titan's Wrath, a growing swarm of alien vessels. Jake had never seen such a formidable armada. What are their intentions? Amy Rodriguez, the communications officer, worked swiftly at her console. They're trying to communicate, Captain. Signals are coming in on multiple frequencies, different languages, but the translator is deciphering them. Put it on speakers, Jake ordered. The bridge filled with alien sounds, melodic tones from the Zephyrions, guttural growls from the Valkyrie, and rapid clicking from the Cathra. As the translator synthesized the input, a cold, mechanical voice emerged. Unknown vessel. You have entered restricted space. Surrender your weapons and technology for inspection. Known compliance will result in confrontation with the full force of the Galactic Alliance. Jake glanced at his crew. Their faces reflected a mixture of tension and apprehension. Through the ship's main window, the alien fleet surrounded them, a display of both artistry and menace. Sleek, silver ships cut through the void like blades. Massive, armored behemoths loomed ominously, and smaller vessels moved in perfect coordinated formations. Captain Commander Pete Johnson called from the weapons station, his tone grim. "I count 197 enemy vessels." The Titan's Wrath was surrounded. Jake Morrison scanned the tactical display, counting nearly 200 enemy vessels. His mind turned to his crew 800 of humanity's finest scientists, engineers, soldiers, and explorers. These people had entrusted him to lead them into the unknown, and now they were trapped, light years from Earth, with no reinforcements coming. But Jake knew humanity's history. Humans had faced impossible odds before his ages, pandemics, wars against overwhelming enemies, and uncharted oceans. Humanity's defining trait wasn't strength or intelligence. It was resilience. They never gave up when the situation seemed hopeless. "Amy, open a channel to all alien vessels," Jake ordered. "Channel open, Captain," Amy confirmed. Jake stood tall and addressed the fleet with unwavering resolve. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth ship Titan's Wrath. We come in peace, seeking to explore this system and establish contact with other intelligent species. We mean no harm, but we will defend ourselves if threatened." The response was immediate. The musical voice of Fleet Commander Zixel filled the bridge. "Human vessel, you will surrender immediately. Your ship poses a threat to galactic peace. We will board and confiscate your technology." Jake's jaw tightened, anger flickering within him. These aliens surrounded his ship, making demands like marauders while claiming to protect peace. "Negative," Jake replied firmly. "We're peaceful explorers, but we will not surrender our ship or our technology. If you want dialogue, we're ready. If you want to fight, we're ready for that too." Aboard the Zephyrian flagship, Fleet Commander Zixel struggled to process the human captain's response. Refusal? Defiance? One ship against nearly 200? It was either unparalleled bravery or sheer foolishness. "The humans are arrogant," Zixel said to his crew. "They believe their single vessel can stand against our entire fleet. Let us show them how wrong they are," he ordered his gunners to fire a warning shot. A brilliant beam of blue plasma erupted from his ship, streaking toward the Titan's Wrath. The weapon was potent enough to destroy most vessels with a single hit. The plasma struck the Titan's Wrath, alighting with its shields and dissipated harmlessly. The ship didn't so much as shudder. On the bridge of the Titan's Wrath, Jake observed the tactical display as the alien weapon struck. Lisa Campbell, calm and collected, reported shields at 99.7%. "That was barely a love tap, Captain." Nodded. The ship had been engineered to survive the deadliest threats in the galaxy. Its shields could absorb almost anything thrown at them. "They fired first," Jake said quietly, his voice cold. "That makes this self-defense." He turned to Commander Pete Johnson at the weapons station. "Pete, show them what happens." When you threaten a human ship, Pete's lips curved into a grim smile. "Target acquired. Main gun ready to fire." The main gun of the Titan's Wrath was a marvel of engineering, running like a steel spine through the ship's core. It was as long as a city block, designed to obliterate even the most heavily armored vessels. "Fire," Jake ordered. Pete Johnson pressed the firing button, and the Titan's Wrath's main gun roared to life. The magnetic accelerator cannon drew power equivalent to what a small planet might consume. A tungsten rod, no larger than a telephone pole, was launched at nearly the speed of light. The rod covered the distance between the Titan's Wrath and the leading Zephyrian destroyer in less than a second. The impact was catastrophic, unleashing the force of a nuclear explosion. The alien ship didn't simply break apart. It disintegrated, leaving only a glowing cloud of gas and scattered particles where the vessel once stood. On the bridges of the alien ships, stunned silence filled the air. Fleet Commander Zixel stared at the void where his destroyer had been, raced uncontrollably, and a cold sweat slicked his metallic blue skin. In his 3 decades of space combat, he had never witnessed destruction so absolute. "Did you see that?" one of his officers whispered. "The entire ship." "Gone," another muttered, disbelief etched into their voice. "How is that even possible?" Aboard the Valkyrie flagship, Archon Yelth studied the tactical display with all 4 of his eyes, his mind racing. The human weapon hadn't relied on energy beams or missiles, but a simple tungsten projectile. Yet it had hit with more force than even the Valkyrie's most advanced plasma cannons. "Scan the human vessel," Yelth commanded, his voice tinged with urgency. "Want to know what other weapons they possess?" The sensor officer worked. "Swiftly, sir. The scans reveal multiple weapon systems. Plasma cannons, missile launchers, laser arrays, and something else. Something we've never encountered before." In the depths of the Cathra swarm, Queen Mind Kasara felt dread seep into every fiber of her immense body. Her survival instincts, honed over millions of years, urged her to flee. The humans, she realized, were unlike anything her species had ever faced. They were predators of the highest order, far too dangerous to engage. On the bridge of the Titan's Wrath, Captain Jake Morrison observed the alien fleet falter. Smaller ships had begun retreating, though the larger vessels remained in place, hesitating. Captain Amy Rodriguez reported from communications. "We're receiving multiple messages from the alien fleets. They want to negotiate." Jake's expression hardened. "Too late for that. They fired first. They threatened my ship and my crew. Now they'll learn what happens when you pick a fight with humans." He turned to Pete Johnson. "Pete, give them the full demonstration. I want every weapon system online. Don't destroy them all. Leave enough alive to deliver the message back to their homeworlds." Pete's grin was grim and unyielding. "Aye, Captain. Time to show the galaxy what human engineering can do." The Titan's Wrath roared to life, its arsenal fully unleashed. Point defense lasers fired in precise straight lines, their speed making them appear as solid beams of light. These lasers tracked and destroyed incoming missiles with machine-like precision. 3 Cathra fighters attempted a daring approach, but the lasers found them in an instant. The small ships disintegrated. In fiery explosions before they could close the distance, the Titan's Wrath stood unchallenged. A monument to human ingenuity and an unrelenting declaration to the galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated. The Cathra fighters exploded like vivid fireworks, their shattered remains spiraling into the void. Next came the plasma cannons, hurling searing balls of contained energy that burned hotter than a star's surface. The glowing bolts slammed into 2 Valkyrie cruisers, slicing through their reinforced armor effortlessly. Within seconds, the cruisers disintegrated, their hulls glowing white-hot before collapsing into fragmented wreckage. The Titan's Wrath followed with a barrage of fusion torpedoes. Each missile carried a warhead capable of cracking a planet's crust. The spread of torpedoes streaked toward a formation of Zephyrion frigates. Despite their desperate attempts to intercept the missiles, the torpedoes proved too fast and resilient. The fusion warheads detonated in blinding flashes of light. And when the glare faded, the Zephyrion ships had vanished without leaving a trace. But the deadliest weapon was still to come. Deep within the Titan's Wrath, Chief Engineer Lisa Campbell activated the experimental gravity weapon. Humanity had never used this technology in battle, but now it would make its debut. "Gravity weapon charged and ready," Lisa reported. "Fire," Jake ordered. The weapon created a localized distortion in spacetime. It's invisible to the eye, but detectable by sensors as it bent light in twisted space. The distortion engulfed a squadron of Cathra fighters. Instantly, the ships began to collapse inward, crushed by the very gravity that once sustained them. In mere seconds, 12 alien vessels imploded into twisted spheres of metal no larger than automobiles. The demonstration was over in 30 seconds. In that time, the Titan's Wrath destroyed 24 alien ships without suffering a single scratch. Its shields remained at 98%, undeterred by the feeble counterattacks. Panic rippled through the remaining alien fleet. Ships that had moved into firing range retreated hastily, and smaller vessels fled outright toward their home systems. Captain Ben Carter called from navigation, "The alien fleet is withdrawing. Most of them have moved to maximum sensor range. Jake nodded. Good, Amy. Open a channel to all remaining ships. Channel open, sir, Amy replied. Jake spoke evenly, his voice calm but commanding. Attention, alien vessels. This concludes our demonstration. You came here in peace, but you chose to threaten us. Now you've seen what human technology can do. We do not wish to fight, but we will defend ourselves against any aggression. If you want to talk, we are willing. If you choose to fight, you will lose. He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. The tactical display still showed over 150 alien ships encircling the Titan's wrath, though they now kept their distance. We are explorers, not conquerors, Jake continued. But we are also not victims. Remember what you've witnessed here today. Tell your leaders that humanity has entered the galaxy. We come in peace, but we are prepared for war. Message was relayed by every surviving alien vessel, spreading to homeworlds and command centers across the galaxy. In less than 6 hours, the news reached every major civilization. Do not engage the human vessel. Repeat, do not engage the human vessel. The demonstration lasted only 30 seconds, but its repercussions would echo for centuries. The galaxy had learned a profound and immutable truth. Humanity was not to be underestimated. The Valkyrie's movements were deliberate, as if he were calculating every potential threat and escape route. Finally, Queen Mind Kasara's avatar entered. The Cathra leader's true form was far too massive to leave her hive ship, so she projected her consciousness into a humanoid drone. The drone stood at human height with a smooth chitin-like surface and glowing multifaceted eyes. It moved with an eerie grace, as if every motion were calculated to convey authority. Captain Jake Morrison stood to greet his guests. His senior officers, including Pete Johnson, Amy Rodriguez, and Lisa Campbell, stood behind him. Jake extended his hand, gesture of human diplomacy that confused the aliens momentarily before their translators explained its significance. Fleet Commander Zixel hesitated, but extended a hand-like appendage to shake Jake's. Archon Fez mimicked the gesture, his expression unreadable. Queen Mind, Kasara's drone, lacking physical hands, offered a slight bow instead. Welcome aboard the Titan's Wrath, Jake said, his tone calm and steady. We appreciate your willingness to meet and discuss the situation. Fleet Commander Zixel was the first to speak, his musical voice modulated through the translator. Captain Morrison, your ship's capabilities have ... surprised us. We came prepared to deal with a lesser threat, not this. Archon Fez nodded, his deep, growling voice resonating in the room. Your technology is unlike anything we have seen. It forces us to reconsider our assumptions about your species. Queen Mind Kasara's voice emerged from her drone, clicking and melodic, yet sharp with intent. Your actions have demonstrated your strength, but we wish to understand your intentions. Strength without purpose is dangerous. Jake met their gazes one by one. Our intentions are simple: exploration, understanding, and peace. Humanity has no desire to conquer or destroy, but we will defend ourselves if attacked. What happened earlier was not something we sought, it was something forced upon us. The room fell silent as the alien leaders absorbed his words. Fleet Commander Zixel broke the silence. We are willing to discuss terms for peace. However, there are concerns among our fleets about what humanity's arrival means for the balance of power in the galaxy. Jake nodded. Humanity has no desire to disrupt your civilizations. We seek partnership, not domination. But understand this: we won't apologize for our strength. We've worked hard to survive and reach the stars. Strength is what allows us to sit here and have this discussion as equals. Archon Fez leaned forward slightly, his 4 eyes focused on Jake. You claim to seek peace, but peace is fragile. What assurances can you offer that humanity's strength won't lead to conflict? Jake gestured to the art adorning the walls. Paintings, sculptures, and photographs showcased humanity's creativity and culture. This is who we are, he said. Not just warriors, but dreamers and creators. We strive for a future where the galaxy benefits from what we can share, not fears what we might take. As the three alien leaders settled into their seats, Captain Jake Morrison welcomed them with a steady voice. "Welcome aboard the Titan's Wrath. I am Captain Jake Morrison, and I speak for humanity." Fleet Commander Zixel spoke first, his translator rendering his musical tones into English. "Captain Morrison, your ship appeared on our sensors like nothing we had ever encountered. We assumed you were invaders, here to conquer," Archon Yelth added, his growling voice steady. "In our experience, species with superior technology use it to dominate others. That is the pattern of the galaxy." Jake studied the three alien leaders, representing civilizations that had ruled the galaxy for millennia. Now they sat humbly at his table, seeking understanding. "We are not conquerors," Jake said plainly. "We are explorers. We came here to learn and to find new homes for our people. Fighting was never our intention." Thikia, Queen Mine Kasara's representative, clicked through her translator. "Yet your weapons are beyond anything we comprehend. How did you advance so quickly?" Jake allowed himself a small smile. "Humans have always been problem solvers. When faced with a challenge, we come together to overcome it. We build better tools, develop new ideas, and persevere. That is who we are." The alien leaders exchanged glances, their skepticism giving way to cautious curiosity. They had expected warriors intent on conquest, but found instead a people who sought peace. "What do you want from us?" Archon Yelth asked. "Friendship," Jake replied. "Knowledge and understanding. We want to learn about your cultures and share our own. The galaxy is vast. There's room enough for all of us." Over the next several hours, the four species forged the beginnings of what would come to be known as the Terran Accord. It was not a surrender nor a conquest, but an unprecedented alliance. Under the Accord, humanity did not demand tribute or enforce obedience. Instead, they would serve as peacekeepers, using their advanced technology to prevent wars and protect weaker species from oppression. In exchange, the other civilizations agreed to share their knowledge and aid humanity in safely exploring the galaxy. The Accord was signed that day, marking a turning point in galactic history. Within a month, over 30 other civilizations had joined, drawn by the promise of a stable and just galaxy. Captain Jake Morrison was appointed as Earth's first ambassador to the stars, his leadership during the crisis cementing his legacy. The Titan's Wrath became a symbol not only of humanity's strength, but of their wisdom and restraint. The galaxy learned a profound lesson. The most dangerous species is not the one that seeks to destroy, but the one that could easily do so and chooses peace instead. Peace had come to the stars, backed by the quiet promise of overwhelming force. To ensure it endured, the era of fear and conflict was over. A new chapter of unity had begun, with humanity at its heart.